So this is an extension of yesterday's video. Yesterday I talked about smiling and that how important smiling is. But today I really want to get into it. It's actually the thing. Like the most important thing in our lives is making a choice at every second of yum or yuck. And you have that choice. You can focus on the positive or you can focus on the negative. And when you're giving gratitude, when you're smiling, when you're in joy, you can't think of all the negative. You're not focused on it. And whenever you're stressed out and you're focused on the past or focused on comparison or judgment or anger or hatred, one of those are low-level energies. And those will keep your brow like this. And I noticed over the last year, my brow showed up. This little guy up here. And my whole attempt is to get rid of that and to make a new habit for myself of opening my heart and being smiling. All right, so this is a practice. This isn't just like snap, I'm gonna do this in the next 30 seconds or 3 minutes and I got it. No, this is a practice I've got to do every day, all day. So they say if you repeat the same thing over and over again and expect a different result, that's called insanity. And Muhammad Ali said, if you think and act the same at the age of 50 that you did at the age of 20, you just wasted 30 years of your life. That you've got to evolve, you've got to change. And I've also heard it said that if you just live the same day for 75 years, you just waste, that's not a life. You just wasted your life, you know? You've got to challenge yourself. And so this is the challenge, smile. This is the first challenge, this is the big one. And it's actually at the root of spirituality, it's the root of physicality, it's the root of mentality. So body, mind, and spirit all have to change with the smile. All right, and so this is the root of, and I just woke up a minute ago and realized how important it is for us to approach smiling as a physical thing, as a mental thing, and as a spiritual thing, and we gotta do it together now. And I'm gonna do it every day. All right, and it's the first thing. So when I wake up, I got my eyes closed, I just barely wake up, and I tune into my smile, my body changes. My heart unclenches and it feels. And I'm choosing to feel the feeling that I so desire. Because when we go to reality for everybody, what do you want to do in life? What do you want to be in life? What's your goal? And you ask that question of anybody. In fact, I challenge you, ask it of anybody. And they'll say, oh, I want to be a CEO, I want $1 billion, I want to create this organization, I want to raise these kids, I want, all these things. It starts off as the physical things. And if you read Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the first things we need are the physical. And then you ask them, why do you want that? Why do you want to be the CEO or have this huge company or be all this money or raise all these kids or whatever you want to do in your life, whatever your challenge is? And you ask them that question, they'll give you another answer that eventually starts to get to the mental stuff. And then if you keep asking the same question, which is, why do you want that? Why do you want that? Or, why? They'll eventually get to the spiritual levels. And the spiritual levels are, it brings me happiness. So at the root of why everybody wants everything or anything in life is happiness. So what I'm getting to is happiness is a choice. It's a choice in every second we're living. And so we can choose to be happy. And it starts right here. And so, yeah, I've had a crappy year and I could just focus on the negative and have that really intense look and focused on the past and anger, frustration, whatever the weird thing is, all the potentials and problems for the future. And it holds you there. It holds you with this thing. But I can also choose to smile. And what happens is when you choose to smile and you get rid of this thing and your eyes squint a little bit and your smile shows up, it starts off as a fake thing. And then you go look in the mirror and the fake thing starts to show up as a real thing. You start to see how beautiful you really are and how unaged you are. If you want to unage, just start smiling. And your heart unclenches and you start to breathe differently. And you can feel the feeling you so desire. Like if you want a Ferrari, if that's your goal in life, The reason you want the Ferrari isn't the damn Ferrari. It's not the box. It's the feeling it gives you. When you go see a film, you don't leave there with all the knowledge of all the little details of the scenes and what colors of clothes they were wearing and what happened in the scene. You leave there with the feeling that it gives you. The feeling is what you're after. So you can choose to have the feeling of joy. It's a choice of every second. Yum or yuck. What do you want? And so if you're dwelling on the past, you're usually feeling bad. Your frequency is low, your health is going bad, and you cover it up with alcohol, food, sex, other habits, shopping, whatever else that fulfills your need for joy. And it's only a temporary thing for joy. You can choose right now to smile, and that'll be a permanent thing. And it becomes a practice. So our first lesson, again, lesson 2, again, is smile. Let's smile. Let's focus on this. So breathe with me. Drop into the moment, the now, the present moment, and feel the feeling of joy. Just actually find that little moment in your life. For me, it was like one of my first memories was this joyous memory. I was at a little baseball field in Warfordsburg, Pennsylvania, watching my uncle play baseball. And I was with my mom, and my dad was nearby, and it's a sunny, beautiful day. This is one of my first childhood memories. And there was these little blades of grass, and then the ones that have the onions. And I don't know, my mom or dad or someone showed me that you can take the onion grass and taste it, and ooh, it's bitter. But then we laughed about it because you have the bitter thing, and then you laugh. It's like down and up. What goes down. Anyway, I had this feeling. It was this beautiful moment of like being with my family. My whole world was right there. You could see my house way off in the distance. You could see the school. You could see the church I went to. We're on this grass connected to earth, the wind's blowing, the sun's shining. It was just this beautiful moment. So I connect to that little beautiful moment, and I smile. And you can see I lit up. I smiled. I opened my heart. So find that little moment there was a little moment on the beach or with this person or whatever, this laughter, love moment, and relive that moment. You can choose to relive that moment and feel the feeling that it gave you. And you can feel that feeling at any time. You can drop into that moment, drop into that feeling at any time. Oh, wow. And when you do, when you drop into that feeling, you actually get a genuine smile. And your heart unclenches. And you're in the present moment. You're no longer in the past and the future. You're in the moment of smiling. And then it's contagious. When you take this smile and you go out in public, I dare you to do this today. Take this smile and go out in public and just give it to someone. Just, walking down the street or in the grocery store or whatever, just give them that genuine, real smile. Just, the eyes are squinty, the big teeth, whatever. Your heart's unclenched, your posture's different, your breathing's different. And you can feel a real, genuine smile. So give it to someone and watch what happens. It comes back to you. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And so if you give a smile, you get a smile. And really connect with people. Look at them in the eyes. See if you can really give them something. And talk to them that way. Give them love, get love. So anyway, this is the moderate version of smiling. That I could go on and on for a long time. But you got enough. So find the moment that you connect with. Drop into that moment and then carry it around with you like you're one of your tools, which is you can drop back into that little sunshiny moment of joy and love and innocence and fearlessness and gratitude, and drop into that moment and then give it away and it'll come back to you. And so, all those relationships, all those people that you normally go to with this thing, when you start going to them with this, they're going to give you back more of this. And then you're going to be able to connect at a better, higher level. And when you connect at a higher level, bing, all those problems of crisis are an opportunity to actually grow. They'll actually come at you with an open heart. You'll come at them with an open heart. There'll be love in the room. And then you can grow. then you can evolve, and then you can change. So if you want love, give love. If you want joy, give joy. Be joy, you know? So this is lesson number 2, which is the more advanced version of smiling. I want you to try it. I want you to do it every day as a practice. Wake up and just smile. Look at your dog. If you have a dog, dogs wake up and they're like, woo, party time. You know, let's have a great day. And they're always looking for a great day, a great moment, a great excitement, you know? So you can too. Yum or yuck, it's your choice. So I always end things with laugh more, worry less, love all, and do it with gratitude for everybody and everything all the time. So that's Knewways. I'm Brian Hardin. There'll be more. It's coming again every day.